It's going to be interesting. I think we're ready. This is a wide open race. It'll be interesting how people react to other moves, because we're going to see several moves during this race, and that's what really makes it a great cross-country race, is how do they react to it.
Carrie, are the nerves gone at this point?
No, and they're not gone as a woman that ran here
mom and dad
20 years
athletes?
later. You know, I think this is the hardest part of the race. I say it every year, but once they toe the line, they hear the gun, then they can just do what they're made of.
Max Mayo is our national meet coordinator, gets us ready. Al Dandridge will be our starter once again. Looks like we're just about ready to go. Here we go, the 2018 Foot Locker National Championship. Our girls will go, if you're unfamiliar with our course, it's a great cross-country course. It is dirt, it is grass, and the best thing about it is that there really is no actual flat place for every run. They're working up and down hills all the time, so it should start out well.
You know, every year they get out hard. You can see them just pushing almost harder than they do at the end, but they want to get out and get into good position. There's 40 girls on that line trying to kind of, you know, it's a bit of a tunnel there. You got to kind of get in and get down, because once you get down on this lower part of the loop, it's not real big down there. So you want to have your position. You want to know where you want to be. And a lot of people want to be able to see that lead runner and to be right up close to her.
You know, Carrie, it is a totally different race than last year. Claudia Lane, it took her all of 19 seconds to take the lead last year. And here we are, we're coming up to the first 400 meters, and it looks like it's a fair pace, but it is wide open at this point, right across the way, and nobody dominating early.
I mean, the finish is so fun, but the start is so fun, too, to watch the colors separate within the individual teams, to see who's going to jump out there and take that initial lead, who's just trying to hang in there.
It looks like our Midwest girls are running together as a group there. They've gone out well. That's what's happened sometimes. They talk a lot about how to support each other in this. You know, they'll all want to win when they get down to those last strides, but during this first part, they really do work together as a team. So Kaitlin Hart, very experienced on this course. She knows exactly what it's like. Was right in it last year for that second and third spot. Her and Gaughan were chasing each other all the way down to the line in that spot. So she has great experience. She knows exactly what to do on this course. They made that's called the Dog Park Loop. That was the first downhill for about 500 meters. Now it is a graded uphill till we get to our first split at 800 meters, and we'll see how fast we're going at that point.
You know, Kaitlin Hart came back here ready to run. She was second last year, like we said. She was third at the region, and you know you don't like to get beat. Nobody likes to get beat. Even if you say that you were taking it a little bit easier to get into this race, I know that you don't like to get beat, but she wants to win this race, and there's no doubt about it, and she said that in her interview.
Yeah, 9:52 on the track for 3,200 meters. She has certainly got the credentials to do that, but that group from the Midwest is really out well. So we're coming up to the 800-meter mark here. We'll get that split as they come through. All in that lead group, you can see Emily Covert also up right in there, our Midwest regional champion, and Ewart and Hart all working together here, and they're just passing over the 800-meter split. Looks like around 2:34 there for the 800, so a good first 800. So as we head around, they'll head around the swimming pool, come back by the start line area to the large crowd, and on your screen you can see those are the half-mile splits there as we go through. We have chip timing, so we'll get half-mile splits, miles, mile and a half, 2, and the 3 in the finish. So a good start here, but Kaitlin Hart, she's got the experience, as we said, so she's going to take this pace out, Carrie. This looks like this may be her strategy, and she's starting to pick it up.
Well, she's definitely taking it out hard, and I don't know exactly what her strategy was, but when you're clearly somebody that has the top returning stat next to your name, you want to come back and show that you know this course, you know how to run. But last year was a different race. They did let Claudia get out a little bit, but we talked about that last year. Claudia got out, but didn't really get much further along in the race. So I think that if Kaitlin goes back and looks at that race, she'll notice that she ran a very strong race last year.
That can't be any accident. Look at that purple of the Midwest. That's 6 girls right there. Then team score, it's 15 points right now. That is a strategy that has to have been talked about. But as we can see, Massarelli, we've been talking about her. She'll be easy to pick out. The basketball player, 5'10", so you can pick her out as she comes through. But she's just at the tail end of that group. She doesn't want to let them get too far away. But the Midwest girls, my gosh, I don't think we've ever seen a move like this where everybody on a team has gone out this hard together as a group.
Well, you know, Peter Henkes has always kind of had that team mentality. He's the coordinator for the Midwest and also the coaches. You know, they come together. Last year, the Midwest only won by 1 point. So it was a very tight finish with South last year. So I'm sure that they have that on their mind as well.
We're talking about hometowns from Minnesota, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan. Those are some cold places this time of year, and here they are under just pure sunshine, Carrie.
Yeah. You know, it was warm yesterday, and we had to remind the kids to hydrate, and they like that this course is packed down now. You know, we ran in mud for many of the regions. I think 3 of the 4 regions had a lot of mud, not just like a little, like inches of mud. So I think the girls are probably feeling pretty springy out there today.
There it is. Kaitlin Hart, you can see, starting to open up a little bit, about a 10-meter lead. Now, this is all flat here. They're going to approach the hill for the first time. If you're new to our course, so it's relatively flat. It's graded up and down as they go through. But when they hit the mile mark, about 350 meters from the bottom to the top, the first 120 meters very steep, but then it doesn't level off. It still climbs all the way to the top of Upas. That's the road they'll go down. So 350 meters to get up there. It'll take them about a minute and a half or so, and then it'll take them about 30 seconds because it is a steep downhill. We go across the road and we'll hit the mile mark for the first time. And they go by the mile mark there. Kaitlin Hart still leading our race there as she goes through the hill. Right around 5:15 for the mile. That's just about what we usually get in these girls' races, pretty close to that. So that's a pretty fair pace, right about what we usually get. In fact, Claudia Lane last year, 5:17 and then 5:18 the year before. So pretty close to that pace. Officially now 5:13. So I guess we've decided, Kaitlin Hart has decided it is okay to take this out, and has taken it out well, opening up a little bit more of that lead. And as we mentioned, so they've gone through the steep part, about 120 meters, and now about another 200 meters of this steady uphill climb.
Is this where experience comes into play in this part of the race?
Certainly is, and Kaitlin's strength here certainly should play into it. Some people have made the mistake sometimes, and this will be the big key. Did she run that hill hard first time too much? But look who's starting to move up. Here she comes out of the northeast there. Masciarelli, we've been saying, how good is she? Does she know how good she is? But she is staying close.
We have a bunch of girls who just aren't used to losing or not being in front. You mentioned that earlier, and I think it's a good point.
Carrie, that's got to be tough on those kids, huh? You're used to winning all the time, and you've run really hard, and people go by you.
Yeah.
You've run your mile as fast as you've ever gone out, and then somebody just blows by you. And we've seen in the boys' race, especially the last couple of years, this downhill, this has been a real key who can run it fast and relaxed on the downhill. And Kaitlin looks good, got that good forward lean there, and look how well she's moving up. Not running hard and yet opening that pace. So she'll come down this hill now, just about 450 meters from here back to the mile and a half. But Kaitlin Hart, this could be great from gun to finish line if that's possible. But at this point, she's committed to this. There's no doubt about it. Masciarelli running right there in second, trying to stay close there to her.
Ewert in third. Looks like Covert in fourth there. Ewert has such a great story. She's a race walker. She's done the steeplechase. She now is focusing a little bit more on the running and running great. She was third last weekend. You know, the one thing with these athletes is having that background of doing different events, doing different sports altogether. That's something that's really going to build their future and really help them get strong in different events, because as we can see, even the pros, they're running different events now. They're not all just running 5K. So using that mile speed, using that basketball skill that you have, and using that agility on cross-country courses, that's what we have to do as athletes. And even as parents and coaches, we have to encourage these kids to be strong and well-rounded.
Oh, you got to admire the guts and determination here. Kaitlin Hart came here. She wants to win this thing, and she has made a commitment to it. Here we go. Coming by at the first mile and a half, so we'll repeat the course. So it's just a little bit over 8 minutes here as they cross the line. A great effort here, Kaitlin Hart, and opens up about 20 meters. Masciarelli, Ewert, Covert. It is a great group. That's Vanderlyn moving up well. The senior, boy, experience playing out. And Starlipper starting to move up. It looks good. This group's starting to separate here. We'll see who can move up over that last mile and a half, and of that first surge here by Kaitlin Hart, she could hold that all the way. So we follow the same path down that to the dog park loop, about a 500 meter here downhill. Kaitlin Hart halfway through our race on her way to try to win a national championship here.
This is where you have to be careful, and you kind of have to regroup mentally. A lot of people let things slide at about a mile and a half mark. You really have to start focusing again and remembering the race strategy and knowing there's still a lot of race left to be run. The big hill is still there again. So yeah, keeping within yourself, but also reminding yourself, take a deep breath and kind of re-attack this race.
You know, moving up there into 6 now, Marley Starlipper, last year, interesting. She was with Hart at this halfway point, right with her, Gone, Hart, and Starlipper chasing Claudia Lane last year. and Starlipper 2 miles faded back a little bit. So maybe a little bit different strategy on her part. Not so hard the first mile and a half to really conserve to move up second. She continues to move up well, and she's now moved into 6th place. So Hart continues to lead, that lead about 20 meters. And the sophomore, Masciarelli, in 2nd, running well there. Taylor Ewert running in 3rd. Vanderkoy in 4th. And coming up well here, Starlipper, as we mentioned, right behind her. Vanderlyn gives the Midwest 5 of the top 7 to, and then Alex Morris, 10th in that region, running very well in 8th. And Kate Weiser, the sophomore, moving up well also from the Northeast. But Kaitlin Hart, boy, what a commitment this is. This is where she pulled away a mile and a half ago, and she looks great, Carrie.
She looks great. You could see her almost kind of dipping her head a little bit here, and they're putting some surges in. She's not really letting this pace just sit. She wants to keep pushing, and maybe it is more for herself, but she's definitely breaking that pack a little bit. And you can see them. They have to keep their eyes up on her. They cannot let her go, or it will be tough to reel her back in.
She accelerated right there. She's making up. This is another move here. My gosh, she made that great move to start out with, and now she's making another one here. But that gap is not too great. They're certainly close enough to make a change or make a run at her, especially with that hill coming up once more. Here we go. Coming up, this will be our 2-mile split here.
Last year, Claudia went through 2 miles in 10:58.
And that was right at 17-minute pace. She ran 17:03 and 17:04 last couple of years. So we're right on that same kind of pace. So running pretty well here. We'll see how fast we're going here. But Kaitlin Hart, wow, what a gutsy move here.
Well, this has been really impressive for the Midwest and Northeast as a whole at this point.
It really is. This race here is really a great race. You know, she is close to flirting with that 17-minute mark. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
here.
you're saying like something like 6 people?
7 girls in the history of 40 years
girls.
of this race have ever broken 70 minutes on this course here. So she is on that pace, running very well, faster than Claudia Lane ran in last couple of years, and Claudia just a tick over 17:03 and 17:04 in those last 2 races. But Kaitlin Hart, my goodness, this has been just a tremendous move. But it is still not broken away. Masciarelli's still there just about 20 meters. This hasn't changed much in the last half mile, and we've got a big hill waiting for him once again.
This is where moves need to be made, though. They need to start reeling her back in if they want to catch her. A lot of times in cross country, you don't see a lot of differences in position unless someone comes back to you, if they've gone out too hard or if they've kind of misread their strategy. So we'll have to see what happens on this hill. But this is where you really need to regroup and get going on this course.
You know, we talk about experience being so important here, but being chased here, this is exciting. Masciarelli, the sophomore, but really a first-year runner in the sport of cross country, and Vanderkoy, the freshman, really moving up well now from the Midwest, her first year. So you've got the experience out front of Kaitlin Hart, and you've got the inexperience, but the pluck here of Masciarelli and Vanderkoy to try to move up on her. But Kaitlin Hart, this is unbelievable from the gun. What a great move. She committed to it early and continues to power through.
She looks great.
She looks really strong. This is outstanding, but that lead just isn't growing that much, and you got to get up the hill one more time.
Masciarelli is one of those stories. She's a basketball player. People say she has Division I people looking at her for basketball, but also obviously they're all looking at her for her running skill as well. But it's great to see that kind of strength that you have out there.
Boy, Vanderkoy just looks great, just running her race, moving up well. 3rd place there, Covert running well. It is a great effort here, and Starlipper continues to move up.
Startlepur said she's really been in the weight room this year. She came back. She's trying to get her upper strength along with her lower strength going to help her in track and cross country, and you can see that it really looks like she's working hard.
Yeah, you really can. You can see how much stronger she is this year than last year. And that's going to make a difference going up that hill. But right now, the only difference is how much can Kaitlin Hart hold on to that lead, and can Masciarelli close? And it looks like she's closing, and Vanderkoy closing too. Oh my gosh, we could set up ourselves for a great finish from the top of that hill down to the finish line, just about 800 meters, and they continue to move towards the hill. And here we go, going up the hill for the 2nd time. And Hart, boy, she looks powerful going up that hill. Masciarelli, though, right there. Masciarelli making a move. Here she comes. And Vanderkoy making a move. So here's our race starting to shape up here. Hart, Masciarelli, and Vanderkoy.
This is where Masciarelli kind of closed a little bit on that first lip, was on the hill. We'll have to see when she gets up on the top of the ridge there. You can really kind of see how far ahead they are there. But Vanderkooi looking great. She's broken 17 minutes 3 different times this year, so she's clearly, running right where she's used to.
It can be deceiving on the video of just how steep that hill is.
That first part, that 120 meters, that is steep. But I think what makes this hill deceptively difficult is you think you're up to the top of it, and then it's another 200 meters, and here she comes. You can see in the photo up on the video screen, Masciarelli closing that gap. Sydney Masciarelli now just about 7 or 8 meters back and making up that. We'll have that steep downhill. Hart ran great on that downhill the first time, but Masciarelli, just as we said with Claudia Lane a couple years ago, does she know how good she really is?
Well, when you have a Shalane Flanagan calling you and saying congratulations on breaking my record, if she is to win this race, she'd be the first underclassman in her first cross-country season to win, like Jordan Hesse. I mean, those are huge names in the sport. But we'll have to see what happens here. The race is not done.
She's going to get us some phone calls. There's no doubt about it. Hart, though, used that. Hart's very experienced. Been a very high-quality runner for several years, even though she is not a senior yet, so still has a lot to go. But she's very experienced over the years, and she is using that downhill. When they hit this downhill, just about 450 meters to go. Can Hart hold this all the way? Masciarelli closing. It looks like it's going to be one of those two. A great race, 3, 4, 5. But out front, it's now locked in a battle of this duo right here. And there they make the turn. That is 400 meters to go. It is Hart and Masciarelli. And it's still uphill. It's not flat. It is really uphill all the way until you see that finish line with about 80 meters to go. So you've got to power. Here comes Masciarelli closing that gap. Hart in the purple, Masciarelli in the green. When they make this left turn, 300 meters to go to a national championship. Hart and Masciarelli. Masciarelli trying to close. We're down to about 4 meters here.
Gal Hart has given it everything she has. She's a 4:43 1,600 meter runner, and Masciarelli's a 4:47 1,600 meter runner. They got about the same speed coming in here, you guys.
No one has come up on Hart's shoulder for 2.5 miles, and Masciarelli, here comes the sophomore. They go by the 3-mile mark, 160 meters to go. Masciarelli and Hart. Hart coming back, though. She doesn't want to give it up. That's Hart in the purple, Masciarelli in the green, and Hart back in the lead now. Masciarelli and Hart. Hart now over the top of the hill, 100 meters to go. And here comes Masciarelli back, and Hart coming back. Hart and Masciarelli down to the wire. And Masciarelli would be the Foot Locker national champion. Tremendous race. Kaitlin Hart, what a gutsy performance. She finishes second, right at 17 flat. That is phenomenal time. 17 for Masciarelli. Hart, 17:01. Vanderkooi, her first time ever, 17:14. Ewert, 17:20 in fourth place. My gosh, the Midwest, 2-3-4. What a performance. And Covert, fifth, and Tice, sixth, all from the Midwest. Covert, 17:29. Tice, 17:30. Weiser, 17:32. Officially now, Masciarelli's time. She doesn't become the seventh or the eighth girl to break 17, but she comes awful close at 17:00.3. Kaitlin Hart, those times are both faster than Claudia Lane's winning time of last year. Tremendous race for Sydney Masciarelli. My, oh my.
Well, you can see the pure exhaustion is one of the runners there trying to figure out who that is. Tim needs to be helped to her feet.
You know, it's everything they got. I mean, it is very tough here, and it's actually a little warm here already for the sun here for some of these kids that come out of training at 40, 50, 60 degrees. All of a sudden we're at 75 and it gets a little warm, but what a great effort. You know, you got to give Kaitlin Hart all those props. What an effort to push that pace so early and then to hold her off. But Masciarelli, just like Claudia Lane did as a sophomore, what a star. A new star is born here today.
So impressive as we welcome all of our runners here across the finish line, all of them putting in such a fantastic effort. Some of them, of course, going for PRs, which will mean the world to them and to their team behind them as well. This crowd still cheering them on. Love the atmosphere here.
One of the great things, this is really tough, there's no doubt about it, but you bounce back from these as we've been talking along. You know, Galen Rupp, one of the greatest American distance runners in the history of the sport, Did not finish the race his junior year here. Didn't finish the race. Came back the following year, ran great, and was runner-up in the race. Louis Quintana, the great Oregon State coach now, he was dead last in his junior year, came back and won it his senior year. So any of these girls here you're looking at in the 30s, 35, that's great. There's the experience, and there you go, looking for those girls next year.
Tim, I'm not sure I've ever seen you almost get out of your chair to check out the finish line. Where does that finish rank in all these races you've watched?
You know, I just can't get back to, usually when somebody comes up on you, Kaitlin makes such a hard move. To try to lead a race, for 14 minutes, 15 minutes like that, and then when somebody comes by, almost always the person coming by just goes by and the other girl settles for second, but not Hart. What a heart in that girl.
It seemed like there were a series of lead changes just within that final 100 yards.
Punching back and forth, you got the experience. She's got great strength, Hart does, but Mascherelli, boy, that's a talent. That is a talent. We were kidding about the phone calls. My gosh, that phone's going to be ringing, and I think her basketball career just got put on hold.
Oh, well, speaking of her, let's get down to the field. Here's Carrie with our winner.
You guys, I'm down here with Sydney. Sydney, it's your first year of cross country, and you go and win the whole national championship. What does it feel like to be a Foot Locker cross country champion?
I'm so excited. This has been a great opportunity. I know a lot of the girls are experienced here, and I just wanted to run my own race and pick it up whenever I could.
You executed that race so perfectly. Did you know going up that hill you needed to be close to the lead, if not in the lead?
Yes, I kind of thought that over before the race with my coach and parents, that going up the hill the second time would be when I started to pick up and make my move, so it worked out well.
I mean, we know that you're a great basketball player. Do you like full court press or do you like man-to-man? Because today it seemed like you like man-to-man.
I actually prefer full court press, but they're both pretty good.
You like to hunt them down. All right, congratulations, way to go.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't think she has any trouble holding up the cardiovascular part of the full court press. I think she can go all 92 feet or whatever it is all the way. What a great race from her. Wow. Carrie, I don't even know if she even realizes how great a race that was, but just to put that in a little bit of perspective, 7 girls in the history of this race have been under 17, and she just ran 17 flat. So, Stephen, we got a star.
What's fun is we get to welcome her back.
And Kaitlin.
Yes.
Kaitlin is a great runner, 9:52 on the track last year. And if Mascherelli was in the race, we'd be talking about Kaitlin 17:01. That is phenomenal. She is a star also. So you got both those girls coming. Well, next year we certainly got something to talk about already.
Well, I'm not sure how they're going to repeat that phenomenal finish. Let's get downstairs to Carrie, who is with Kaitlin.
Kaitlin, 2 times in a row, second here. It's an amazing race. You put it out there. I mean, you really made it your race. Talk about that.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure going in what my plan was. I knew I just wanted to kind of hang with the front pack, as obviously this field has some really amazing runners. And, down through the downhill, I kind of felt strong. And so I thought about just going for it. And I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but I knew I just had to trust my gut and just stay strong through the rest of the race.
Foot Locker, what does it mean to you? You keep coming back year after year.
Oh my gosh, it's such an amazing experience. Foot Locker does such a great job, here in San Diego hosting us, and it's so much fun with the elite athletes and getting to hang out with girls you're competing against, and overall just a great experience.
Awesome job. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Abigail, third today. You really had a great race. You pushed hard in the middle mile. How do you talk about your race?
I kind of had a bad start. I felt like I got kind of boxed in, but I kind of worked my way to the front, tried to take all the little corners, but it was hard, but I tried to push the second mile. Normally I go really hard the first mile, but I felt pretty good, so I was like, I'm just going to give it all I got.
Yeah. Are you so excited to be one of the top 3 in the country?
Yeah, I was really hoping for top 15 because, I'm a freshman. I've never done this. I was freaking out before, but it's amazing to get third. I would have never expected it.
Well, go have a blast. Congratulations. You're awesome.